everyone. Welcome to another exciting edition of Books and Banter, your Medina Library's video blog as to what the experts are reading. My name is Eric Lucius from the Medina Library. I'm hosting from our teen room once again, here on kind of a cold and kind of a yucky day in Medina, but you know, it's winter's coming, so what do you expect? Today we are continuing our series of books that blew us away. I'm very happy to have Rachel, one of our librarians from Buckeye, here to talk about a book that blew her away. So, without further ado, take it away.
All right, thank you, Eric. Like I said, I'm Rachel Rundle. I'm a library associate at the Buckeye branch of Medina County District Library. And today I'm going to talk to you about a book called Gone Girl by Gillian Flynn. It is very much a mystery and a suspense. It's not action-packed, but it is an edge-of-your-seat read, which is actually very different from what I am used to reading. I tend to go towards young adult fiction. I love fantasy and science fiction and romance and dystopian society. So this was a bit of a jump for me. As a matter of fact, I'm sure Eric probably thought I was going to talk about a teen read today, but you know, we read so much and so many good books, but every once in a while you get a book that just blows you away. And so that was this book. Initially, it drew me in because of like the stark black background and the red writing and just like the wisps of hair that went, you know, go in front. It reminded me of a teen book, and so once I started reading the synopsis about it, I was like, oh my god, I have to read this. So it's about a couple who are getting ready to celebrate their 5th wedding anniversary. And every year on their anniversary, the wife scatters clues around to different places that they've shared special moments at, or somewhere, you know, nice that they went together, and the husband has to find these clues in order to get to his wedding gift. What's different this year is that the wife has gone missing, and the clues that she has set out for her husband are rather incriminating. And so immediately questions start being asked, suspicions rise, and fingers are being pointed towards the husband, as usually does happen. And so what was so interesting about the plot was that the narratives were fractured, and so every chapter switched back and forth between present day, the husband's point of view, and back to, I believe it was like 7 years prior to, diary entries of the wife leading up to that day. So it was really interesting to see how everything unfolds 5 years into a relationship from the husband's point of view, and then back again to, you know, these diary entries that are telling you how they met and how they fell in love and, you know, what happened after they got married, how their relationship changed, and all of the things that led up to that day. And what was so great about it, it being a suspense, of course there's twists and turns. And since this is kind of, you know, this is a new genre for me, I'm not used to this, so I thought, okay, I've got this figured out, it's not that complicated, but it is, because it's broken into 3 different parts. And when you get to the second part, everything changes. It's like a whole new book. It's the same characters, it's the same plot, it's just the narratives change, their points of view changed. They become almost like different people. And you get to a point where you're asking yourself, who are these people? I feel like nothing is as it was before. And that's what's so cool about the book, is because the characters themselves are asking the same question. They're saying, who is this person? Who is this person that I have been married to for 5 years? Do I really know them? And so more than a mystery or a suspense or anything, it's actually a testament to, you know, two people, and, you know, as far as like how a relationship changed and how well you know someone, and do you know them well enough that you can manipulate them into doing terrible things. And so that is why I loved the book so much.
Wonderful. It sounds like some great people.
Yeah.
Which leads me to my first question. Nick and Amy, that's the husband and wife, correct?
Yes.
Right names? Okay.
Yes.
How did you feel about them? Did you find them loathsome? Did you find any redeeming qualities? Did you find one more sympathetic than the other at all?
You know, it's funny you ask that, because, like I said, it changes so much. I mean, initially, I felt sympathy for Nick. Sympathy for Amy. And I just thought, you know, Nick is just such a vile character. I mean, how could he be so, you know, so callous, and he just doesn't seem like he cares at all that his wife has gone missing. But just as I start to feel like that, then the characters change, and then I get to the second part of the book, and even into the third book, my mind changes again, and I start to think, oh my gosh, I don't know if I like either one of them. And even up until the very end, I was kind of thinking that same thing. I'm like, the thing is, it's like, even though you've read this book and you feel like you've gotten to know the characters, you really don't. I mean, you can never tell whether they're lying or not, or what you've just learned about them is really true or not. So it's hard, it's complicated.
All right, very cool. Huge seller. It's starting to cool down a little bit maybe, but still a massively big bestseller. They're going to make a movie out of this, and I'm sure it's going to be a huge blockbuster. Who would you kind of see as in casting? Who would you cast as Nick? Who would you cast as Amy?
For Nick, I would cast Mark Wahlberg. When I was reading it, I kind of pictured someone similar to him, kind of like that muscular kind of build. He's supposed to kind of look like kind of a bad boy. And Michelle Williams would be who I would cast as Amy, because she's supposed to come off as kind of like this sweet girl, but in seeing her acting, I think that she can play kind of a more complicated, twisted role.
Excellent. Reader likes. What kind of reader do you want to get this book into the hands of?
I think that someone who likes books by like Thomas Cook or Harlan Coben might like this. Maybe even like Kay Hooper or something like that. I think this would be very similar to those reads.
Very good, very good. Harlan Coben's one of my personal favorites. So, last but not least, most importantly, there's a wine pairing for this guy.
I would pair this with a Pinot Noir. It's kind of like a medium red wine. It has a fruity taste to it with a little bit of hint of spice, and then like an underlying tartness to it, which is exactly what describes this book.
Very nice. Well played. Real quick before we go, I could pee on this and other Poems by Cats. A new book that just came out. You got to get this. If you're a cat owner like me, I've lived with Garfield and Pokey for about 12 years. I've lived with them longer than my wife. And we have a very odd relationship. It's by Francesco Marcialiano, probably butchering that name. It's she writes a Sally Forth comic book. A little poetry reading here for you. Bear with me. Tripped. I'm sorry I tripped you in the hall. I'm sorry I tripped you in the den. I'm sorry I tripped you in the bedroom. I'm sorry I tripped you in the kitchen. I'm sorry I tripped you in the attic. I'm sorry I tripped you in the basement. I'm sorry I tripped you out the door. I'm sorry I tripped you on hard cement. Some men paid me $5 grand to kill you. So if you have cats, that will make sense. All right, thank you very much. Thank you, Rachel, so much for being here with another great book. Grab this book. Like I said, still very popular, but you're probably going to get on a waiting list. It'll be a short waiting list now, though. A great book indeed. So that's it. Thank you so much for joining us, and we will see you around the library.